Hi, I want to share with you a book called The Hidden Messages in Water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. Dr. Emoto was a scientist who did research on water molecules. And what he did was he exposed them to positive or negative words, thoughts, energy, and then he would quick freeze them to see what they would look like. And here's a image of some of what he discovered, what pictures he took. As you can see, those that were uh, exposed to positive words like thank you, I love you, the crystals are so strong and intricate and beautiful in the way that they are structured. And then those that are given negative thoughts, words, energy, they are just malformed. The structure is totally lacking. They are just yuckiness. It's hard to believe that they're even the same thing, that they're both water. And the reason, isn't it crazy wonderful though? Like, how amazing is that water is affected by messages like that? But then if you think about yourself, I think about myself, you think about the world around you, how are we as people affected by these positive and negative messages that are being, that we are bombarded with all of the time? Hi, I'm Sally, and this is my joyful journey as an empty nester. And today we are going to look at eliminating negativity in our lives and how we're going to do that through two very simple practices that you can do daily in less than 5 minutes, literally. So, thinking about the negative messages, I, of course, was in a really bad place during COVID. And I think I've shared that before in some earlier videos, that it was really kind of a low time. And I was starting to kind of come out of it, still dealing with the aftermath of COVID. So in November of 22, I discovered a documentary by Jonah Hill called Stutz. And the documentary is based on his therapist, Dr. Phil Stutz. And Stutz takes a very interesting approach to mental health and general well-being, in that he gives people actions, gives them things to do in the form of a tool. But one of the things that most resonated with me that he shared that really hooked me was this thing called Part X. And that is that negative voice inside of us that wants to keep us small. And I could so relate to that and to that negative feeling that I get. But he gives you a tool that helps you take responsibility for Part X. You know, you got to identify it, but then responsibility is, how do you respond positively to what is happening? And the tool that he shared was the grateful flow. And how that works is to think of 3 or 4 ordinary daily things that you're grateful for. You know, they're not spectacular things, they're just normal things. The trick is, though, not to do a repeat of those things on a daily basis or whatever. You need to try and come up with different things to focus on. So you come up with a couple of things, you know, whether it be, I'm thankful for my comfortable bed. I'm thankful that I have a car that's very reliable. I'm grateful that I have plenty of food to eat, that I have electricity. I am so grateful for these things, whatever they are, and then take what you're grateful for and pull it into your heart and really hold it there for a while, like 30 seconds. Really focus on that thing of gratitude. And when you're doing that, then you can kind of let the things go, but just hold on to that feeling of just gratefulness. And then you can feel it in your heart expanding and getting stronger and just tying into that feeling that it expands so much that you just reach it out and you push past the cloud of part X and reach out up into to the sun, to the universe, to God, and you have that connection with the universe, with God, and just feel that positive energy so much in your being. It just is a wonderful, wonderful way to get out of your funk. So I practiced that. I joined a small group of other toolers, they call themselves, for a while. And it really was helpful. And something else I was doing was journaling at the same time. So and I started journaling before I saw Stutz. So what's interesting about that is that I can see, like in writing, I can see my thoughts, right? I can see where I started out really kind of negative, and I would kind of go back and forth with my negativity, but eventually there was more positivity than negativity. So then, a short while after I discovered Stutz, okay, by the way, I sent copies of the tools, the book, The Tools, to all my friends and family that Christmas. I watched the documentary in November and sent everyone the book in December. And then a few months later, I discovered another book by Pam Grout called Thank and Grow Rich. And she calls it a 30-day experiment in shameless gratitude and unabashed joy, which I had to get that book because it just sounded wonderful. And I love the way she writes. She has a really lyrical, whimsical is the word I'm looking for, whimsical way of expressing herself in writing. And I love it. Okay. But what her book boils down to is what she calls AA 2.0. And that is something that, here's how you do it. Before you get out of bed in the morning, you say to yourself, say out loud, just declare it, that something amazingly awesome is going to happen to me today. And then you set out into the world with that expectation. And then you are your own best detective to go looking for the evidence of life being amazingly awesome. And honestly, it's amazing how well that works. And another thing that she shares is that you have to share what you uncover with someone else. And yeah, so I was journaling with my life coach, sharing that with my life coach before Stutz. And so I have continued that. And I have to tell you, again, I went from kind of being this, started to see some positivity, but it's like, it's almost like every time I'm writing, it's just really, and we're not talking, it's really powerfully positive. And it's not like it's just a week. I mean, we're talking, it's been since before, it's been like towards the tail end of 22 that I started this. And so now we've got like a little over 2 years worth of documentation to really show that like my life has moved in a really positive direction. This isn't just some Pollyanna BS. This is real. And I'll tell you, and it's not that my life has changed or your life will change, because according to Stutz, and he's absolutely right, there are three things that we can always count on that we can't escape. And that is, there will always be pain, there will always be uncertainty, and there will always be constant work. And that's life. And it is how you respond to it. And these practices will absolutely strengthen that in you. And before I close out this video, I wanted to share like a real live personal story that presented itself as I was writing this script. So a few days ago, my son was having some kind of stomach issue, and I texted him before I went to bed that night. Of course, I fell asleep before he responded. And then at 2 in the morning, I look at my phone, and lo and behold, he's like sending me messages like, I think I have appendicitis. So of course I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. So I call him, and we are like Googling appendicitis and what's going on, whatever. And so finally we're back and forth, back and forth. He says, okay, Mom, I think I'm going to be okay to make it through the night. So I go to his apartment the next morning, and we go to an urgent care, and they run tests. And after spending hours and hours, it's, we got there early in the morning. Now it's like 2 in the afternoon. The doctor comes back and he says, well, after a CAT scan, he says, well, I'm really not sure what is going on. I'll be honest with you. This could either be a serious blockage. It wasn't appendicitis, but there could be like a physical blockage in your small intestine, or it could be just a swelling. And I'm going to give you some medication to take, and it will sort of let us know one way or the other. So things are either going to get better or they're going to get worse once you take this medicine. So I ended up spending the night at my son's apartment, which was kind of fun because I went home for a break to get some clothes, came back, and his girlfriend was there. And anyway, so I wanted to share. So in the midst of all this uncertainty, and he was in a great deal of pain, there were some really positive things that happened. It's always nice to be the mom and know that my son still relies on me, and he knows I have his back, and that's a good feeling. I got to meet the girlfriend that I hadn't met yet. She was wonderful. And speaking of wonderful, OSU urgent care that we went to was also top notch, start to finish. It was just a great experience. So we had a lot of positive things that we weren't, it was all good. And then it wasn't a serious blockage. It was just a swelling, probably. The medicine did seem like it relieved some of the symptoms that he was having. And then, of course, constant work. I spent the night and take the morning off to restock him with a few things, and went to work. And sure enough, I got there. It was Pi Day, 3/14 was the date. And someone in my office had made a homemade apple crumb pie, or a Dutch apple pie, and which absolutely is one of my favorite pies. They were out of the cherry and the chocolate, and I could have cared less. I love apple. And so that was a really nice surprise. And then when I got home from work, I had a young man stop by my house and drop off a hoodie sweatshirt that I had won. And, I got to reflect on all of that. And it's like, you know what? It was really scary. It was stressful, but it wasn't like I didn't let it take me to a dark place like earlier I might have. So I encourage you to be on this path of positivity. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. And if you have someone in your life who is a negative Nelly who really needs to be more positive or could benefit from being more positive, please share it with them. And I hope to see you in the next video.